Right, with that, this discussion is there for us to do LKAS 2 first in first out method, right? We have done first in first out method in our theory classes, and we have done few questions, and we wanted to give you some more questions and as a practice questions. Therefore, throughout these discussions, we are going to discuss some practice question under the FIFO method. If you have not done those questions, these questions what I WhatsApp you, if you haven't done, please do those questions first and then go through with this video, right? You have to complete this particular question before watch this video, right? We will move into the first question. Question number 1, this is a model question. On 1st April, the following information is given for a single inventory item of a business for the month of January 2020. They have given, and they say that their pricing method is the first in first out method, and they want you to calculate cost of sales, closing stocks, and the gross profit by preparing the stores ledger, right? Okay, we will do the stores ledger for this, right? Even without the stores ledger, even without the stores ledger, you can do these calculations with that, right? But we better do the stores ledger for knowledge purpose, and then thereafter we'll do the calculations. Later on, by the time we do the MCQs, we will see without the stores ledger, even under the FIFO method, how we going to do these calculations, right? Okay, we'll have the stores ledger. The first, it says on 1st Jan 2020, inventory balance is rupees 80,000. Inventory balance is rupees 80,000. Then on 1st Jan, you get the inventory balance. If there's an inventory balance that's supposed to be recorded under the balance column in the stores ledger, but there are 1,000 units, and you can see the value of it, rupees 80,000. Opening stocks, there are 1,000 units, value of it, rupees 80,000. That is on 1st January. Then on 5th January, there was another transaction, that is purchase of stocks, right? How many units you purchased, Puta? You have purchased 2,000 units, each at 90. 2,000 units you bought at 90. Then the value is 2,000 into 90. It's 180,000. Value is rupees 180,000. Puta, you had 1,000 units. By the time you are having 1,000 units, if you bought another 2,000 units, value of the stocks will become 3,000. And you had here 80,000 units, and when you bought 180,000, value of the stocks become 280,000. Then on 10th January, you sold 1,200 units. 10th January, you sold 1,200 units. Puta, now keep in mind, by using the cost formula or the FIFO method, you are calculating the cost of the inventory, right? Okay. Now here they say they sold 1,200 units at 150 each. 150 is the selling price. Therefore, selling price won't be recorded here. We need to calculate the cost of those 1,200 units. When calculating the cost of those 1,000 units, formula or the assumptions we are supposed to use is what? FIFO method, right? Okay. Now then we calculate the cost of that 1,200 units. When you're calculating the cost of that 1,200 units, how are we going to do the calculations? With 1,200 issue karaddi, main assumption is first in first out. So whatever the inventory that you got first, you are issuing first. Therefore, you are issuing the opening stocks of 1,000, the value of it rupees 80,000. And you need to issue another 200 units more. That 200 you cannot issue at this, so then you are issuing at 90. Then you are issuing at 90, right? Then how much the value of it, Puta? 200 into 90. Is it 18,000? Yes, that is rupees 18,000. And Puta, how are we going to do these calculations? You issued 1,000 units. Unit cost has not been given in the opening stocks. Then it's 80. Then you have issued another 200 units. Those units you issued at 90. Then the value of it, rupees 18,000. Then 1,200 is the number of units you have issued. Value of it, rupees 98,000. Value of it 98,000. Now how many units are available, Puta? After issuing 1,200 units, there are 1,800 units. How did I get that 1,800 units? This 3,000 minus 3,000 minus 1,200. May issue a karanna kaling. Before you make this issue, business had 3,000 units of stocks. Now we have issued 1,200. So the value become 1,800. Right. And next, how much the value of the stocks? Puta, you had 260,000 worth of stocks, and out of it you have issued 98,000 worth of stocks. So then you get a value of rupees 162,000. And after the 10th January issue, value of the stocks 162,000. Puta, how are you going to calculate the value of that 162,000? May 162,000 ඇත්තටම ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ කොහමද? There are 1,800 units. Then every unit consists with 90. 162,000. එතකොට මේක ආවේ කොහොමද පුතා? අන්තිමට ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙනවා 1,800. ඒක ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ කීය ගාන ගත්තේ වලින්ද? අන්තිමටම ගත්තේ වලින්. අන්තිමට අරන් තියෙන 90 ගාන. එතකොට how did you get this 162,000? 1,800 into 90. මේ 800 1,800 ම ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ the inventory what you bought at 90. Right. Okay. Then what is the next transaction? Purchase 3,000 units at 100 each. Purchase 3,000 units. It's a receipt, so then you record under receipts column at 100 each. Then how much the value of it, Puta? That is rupees 300,000. And while you are having 1,800 in your store, when you purchase another 3,000, number of units available become 4,800. And while you are having 162,000 in your store in value, and when you purchase 300,000 worth stocks, value of the stocks become how much? 462,000. That is rupees 462,000. And at last, you sold another 2,500 units. You sold another 2,500 units. Now look at this. When you issue these 2,500 units, these 1,000 units are already sold. Right? Opening stock that issue under the FIFO method. Out of this 2,000, 200 units you have issued, no? Out of this 2,000, 200 units you have issued. How many units are remaining? 1,800 units are remaining. 1,800 apita issue karanna puluwan isellama. By the time you are issuing 2,500, by the time you are issuing 2,500, 1,800 can be issued at 90. Okay, you are issuing that at 90, and a value of that how much? 1,800 into 90, which is 162,000. Which is 162,000. What next? Another, you are issuing 2,500 units. You are issuing 2,500 units. Another 700 more units you need to issue. That 700 you can't issue at 90 because this 2,000 was entirely issued. And you are supposed to issue from the next purchase. What is that purchase? 100. ඊළඟට purchase කරලා තියෙන්නේ at 100. How much the value of it? 700 into 100. Is it 70,000? 700 into 100. That is rupees 70,000. එහෙනම් පුතා, how much the total value? 1,800 into 700, 2,500, and this is 232,000. You are having 2,800, 4,800 before the issue. Before the issue, you had 4,800, but you issued 2,500, and our remaining balance will be 2,300. Here, Puta, you had 462,000. Aking 232 has been issued. And how many units are available? 230,000. May 230,000 ආවේ කොහමද? 2,300 into 100. මොකද ඒක ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ වගේ FIFO method එකේදී හැමතිස්සෙම ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ අන්තිමටම ගත්ත ඒවා. අන්තිමටම අරන් තියෙන පුතා 3,000 units at 100. එහෙනම් definitely this 2,300 would consist with this 100 units. Is it clear for you? Yes, right. This is what the stores lecture. Okay, now you wanted to provide the informations for the answers for the given question. First, they ask you to calculate the cost of sales. Okay, look at this. This is very important. How are you supposed to calculate the cost of sales? How are you supposed to calculate the cost of sales? Putha, how many times you have made the issues? How many times you sold, Putha? There are 2 times. Enang, when you are calculating the cost of sales, first one, cost of the first sales is 98,000. Cost of the first sales is 98,000. Cost of the second sale is 232,000. Enang, value of the stocks, how much? Is it 330,000? Sorry, not the value of the stock. Cost of sales is how much, Uta? 330 to 330,000. නේ පළවෙනි cost එකේ sale එකේ cost එක 98,000 ඊළඟට අපි තව sale එකක් කරලා තියෙනවා 2,500 unit ඒකේ cost එක 232,000. Altogether the cost of sales is 330,000. Okay, what is next? Next they want you to calculate the cost of the closing stock. Cost of the closing stock. Right. Cost of the closing stock, how are you supposed to calculate? Right. You don't want to calculate it. It is already there in the stores ledger. Cost is how much? That is rupees 230,000. Cost of the closing stock is rupees 230,000. Please do these questions again and again and watch this video, right? You can stop everywhere and you can go through the questions. Okay. What is next? Yeah, then the third requirement is to calculate the gross profit. You are required to calculate the gross profit. How are you supposed to calculate the gross profit, Putha? How are you supposed to calculate the gross profit? This is very important. Even in the 2020 LOL paper, examiner has more focuses on your knowledge, right, about how to calculate the cost of sales. So by the time I do the discussions about the 2020 questions, I'll let you know, right? මම කියන්නම් මොකක්ද මොනවාද points කියලා මතක තියාගන්න. ඔයාට හරියටම පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ purchases කියන්නේ මොකක්ද, cost of sales කියලා කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා අඳුරගන්න. So the cost of sales is the cost of the goods sold. What do you mean the cost of sales? Cost of the goods sold, right? එහෙනම් during the period you sold 3,700 worth units. How? 1,200 and 2,500. එහෙනම් how much the selling price of it? How much the selling price of it? Sales is how much? You sold during the period you sold 3,700 units at 150 each. And how do you calculate the value of it, Putha? 3,700 into 150, which is 455,000. Which is rupees 455,000. Cost of sales, how much? Cost of sales you already calculated, no? Cost of sales is 330,000. Cost of sales is how much, Putha? Rupees 330,000. Clear, Miti? You already calculated. So this cost is also for 3,700 units. And Putha, how much is the gross profit? Gross profit is 555,000 minus 330,000. And is it 225,000? Gross profit of the business, rupees 225,000. Is it clear for you all? Yes. Right. Putha, in this question, they want you to calculate the cost of sales, closing stocks, and the gross profit. Cost of sales under the FIFO method, it's 98,000 and 332,000. It's altogether 330,000. Cost of the closing stocks after the calculation, it's 230,000. Gross profit is how much? Gross profit is rupees 225,000. Okay. Now we will move into the next question. Question number 2. Right, Putha? When you are moving to the question number 2, it's also a model question. you can see what are the information that they have given. Following information is given for a stock item of a business for the month of January 2020. They have given the opening balances 1500, cost per unit they have given, purchases, sales return during the month of during the sales made in during the month, purchases, and there was a sales. Again, there's a sales at last. Business uses FIFO method, okay, in issuing the inventory. You are required to calculate the value of the closing stock and the gross profit. Selling price is there. So then if you can calculate the cost of sales, you can calculate the gross profit. Okay, could you tell me how do you calculate the closing stocks in this business? This is a MCQ you can see. Therefore, you are not supposed to have the entire stores ledger in calculating the closing stocks as well as the cost of sales. There should be a shortcut in doing the calculations. We'll see how to do the calculations. Okay. First, we'll get, this is a bit of a difficult question. Please do this question several times, right? Okay. First, we'll do the calculations of how to calculate in the closing stock. Closing stocks. Right. How are you supposed to calculate the closing stock, Puta? You get on first Jan 2020. We'll see how do you calculate the closing stocks. You can see, Puta, on 1st Jan 2020, you have 1,500 units. And during the period you purchase, during the period you have purchased 4,000 units, and again 2,500 units. Altogether you have purchased 6,500 units. Yes or no? Yes. See how you're going to do the closing stock calculation without preparing the stores ledger under the FIFO method. Right. Okay. And then again, you have sold 5,500 units. You have sold during the period 5,500 units. When you sell, there will be a stock outflow. Sold 3,500 at once, and then again there was a sales of another 200 units. Altogether you have sold 5,500 units. And Puta, there was a sales return of 700. Sales return, sales made to the customer has been returned. Sales return will receive your sales return will increase your inventory in the store by rupees 700. Altogether, how many units of stocks are available? There are 3,200 units. Am I right? By the time you start the month, you had 1,500. During the period, you have purchased 6,500 units. And you sold 5,500 units. But out of that 5,500, there was a return of 700. Enaputa, closing stocks. Stock in units, how many? 3,200. Closing stocks in units, 3,200. Puta, what is the pricing method that you are supposed to use? FIFO method. Under the FIFO method, what is your assumption? Whatever the inventory you receive first has been issued first. Kaling gatteva kaling issue karna. Ehang closing stock එක ඉතුරු එන්න ඕනේ අන්තිමටම ගත්තේවා. අන්තිමටම අරගත්තේවා. අන්තිමටම අරන් තියෙනවා how many units? What is the most recent purchase, Puta? The most recent purchase here 2,500 units at 25. Ehang Puta, out of that 3,200, out of that 3,200, when you are calculating the closing stock, out of that 3,200, there are 2,500 units which you bought at 25. Which you bought at 25. And how much the value of the stocks, Puta? 2,500 units into 25, which is 62,500. That is rupees 62,500. Right. There are another how many more units? Yes. Altogether, there are 3,200. The stores you can calculate the closing stocks. Right. There are 3,200 units in your store. Most recent 2,500 would be definitely available. And there will be another 700. That 700 will be available from the previous purchase, which is at, yeah, what's the other purchase with 4,000 units at 20 each. 4,000 units at 20 each you purchased before, and that 700 would consist with this purchase. How much the value puta? 700 into 40, which is 28,000. Yes, which is rupees 28,000. So value of the closing stocks then 62,500 plus 28,000 is it 90,500. That is your closing stock under the FIFO method. 3,200 units has to be there. We'll do the calculation. We'll check the calculation from the beginning. From 1st Jan, you had 1,500 units. Okay. And you purchased 4,000 and 2,500, altogether 6,500 units you have purchased. And you sold your total amount of sales 3,500 units and 2,000 units, altogether 5,500. And there's a sales return of 700. So then altogether the value is number of units 3,200. Then that 3,200,000 would consist of the most recent purchase. Most recent purchase with our 2,500 units you bought at 25, it has to be 62,500. And then again another 700 has to be there. That 700 should be from the purchases you made before. So that has to be from, definitely the 700, this 700 has to be from this purchase of 20, right? And on that 700 you multiply by 20. Sorry Puta, it's not 40, yeah? There was a small mistake we did, right? We did a small mistake. Cost of it, it's not 40, it has to be 20. Then it has to be 14,000. 14,000. 700 unit into 20 and 2,500 units into 25. Right, but in this question, there's a small issue, that is you won't get an answer. Your answer has to be you can see, I'll explain this from the beginning. You had 1,500 units and you purchased 6,500 units. How did you get that 6,500? 4,000 units plus 2,500 units. Altogether you have purchased 6,500 units and you sold during the year 3,500 and 2,500. Sorry, 2,000. 3,500 plus 3,500 plus 2,000. So altogether, how much the number of units you sold? Puta 5,500. Habai. Out of that, there was a sales return of 700. When the customers return you the sales, you get the stocks. So then Puta, how many units? You do this question in units. How many units are available in the store? How many units are available in the store? 3,200. Right? But under the first in first out method, when you are issuing the inventories under the FIFO method, that means whatever the inventory you receive first has been issued first. Therefore, your closing stock would consist of the most recent purchases. What would be the most recent purchase? What would be the most recent purchase? That is this 2,500. Make an antimada 3,200 value 2,500 should be definitely available. And at the same time, another 700 has to be there. That 700 definitely should be available from the previous purchase, which is on 5th January. There you have purchased 4,000 units at 20. That 700 should consist with that 20. The price of it has to be 14,000. Altogether, value of the closing stock. That answer you won't get there. Value of the closing stocks rupees 76,500. Right. In addition to that, in this question they want you to calculate the gross profit. But how are you supposed to calculate the gross profit in this question? How are you going to calculate the gross profit? You get the sales minus cost of sales. Tell me, Putha, how many units you sold? 2000 plus 3500, altogether 5500. Right? There are two selling price, and now you have to calculate the value of the sales separately. What is the first one? 3500 units at 35. Putha, 3500 units into 35, you get 122,500. And then you have sold another 2000 units at 25. You have sold another 2000 units at 25. And how much the cost of it, Putha? Sorry, the total sales income of that, which is rupees 50,000. And how much the total sales? 50,000 plus 122,500. It's 172,500. Okay. From this, you subtract the but keep in mind, Putha, even though you have sold this much, there's a sales return. How much the sales return? 700 units has been returned. Putha, by the time there was a return of 700, the only sales you made is this, no? Make sale. That is 3,500 units. That 3,500 units you sold at 35. And Putha, the sales return also you need to record at 35. And sales return should be, the sales return should be 700 units into 35. And how you get, Putha? 700 into 35, which is the sales return. Right. And a sales return must be subtracted. And how much the net sales, Putha? 172,000 you sold. From that, there was a sales return of 24,500, and a net sales is 148,000. And how much the cost of sales? Right. Putha, cost of sales when you are calculating, you can see here 3,500 units you have sold. Have 700 units has been returned. And Putha, actually you have sold 2,800. No? You calculate the cost of that 2,800. How are you going to calculate it? 1,500. Calling issue karna opening stock issue 15 and another 1,300 units. That 1,300 units you would issue from the next purchase, that is at 20. Then අපි පුතා 3,500 මෙතන sell කරා. ඒකේ cost of sales ගහන්න ඕනේ. 3,500 sell කරාට ඒකෙන් එයා අපිට return කරා කොච්චරද? 700. Customer has returned 700. And how many units are remaining? 2,800 units. Right? This is a net sales. So 2,800 units selling අපි issue කරද්දී අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලාම හිතන්න ඕනේ that 1,500 units at 15 has been issued. 1,500 units at 15 we have issued. Clear? Another 1,300 has been issued, right? Net sales. So cost of that, definitely that has been issued at 20. And 1,300 into 20. And how much the cost of this sales, Putha? You can say 1,500 into 15 and 1,300 into 20, which is 26,500. There was another sales which is 2,000 units. 2,000 units of issue කරන්න කොහොමද පුතා? 2,000 units issue කරද්දී අපිට හිතන්න එනවා මේ 1,500 අපි දැනටමත් issue කරානේ. එතකොට මෙන්න මේ මෙතන ඊළඟට අපි purchase කරලා තියෙනවා 2,000 units, 4,000 units. ඒ 4,000 units වලින් අපි issue කරලා තියෙන්නේ 1300 විතරයි. එහෙනම් එතන තියෙනවා පුතා තව 2700 units. අන්න ඒ 2700 units වලින් 2000 issue කරනවා. That has to be issued at 20. එහෙනම් value of it how much? 2000 into 20. Is it 40,000? Yes. That is rupees 40,000. And the net sales is this much. That minus cost of sales. Net sales is 148,000. That minus 22,500 minus 26,000 minus 40,000. And your gross profit will be rupees 59,500. Yes. Your gross profit will be 59,500. Put that, just forget about this particular answers which has been given erroneously. It has been printed the wrong answers, but anyhow, these are the figures that you are supposed to use. Your closing stock has to be 76,500. Your closing stock should be 76,500. Your cost of sales has to be, sorry, your gross profit has to be 59,500. 59,500. It has to be 59,500. Right, okay. Now with that idea, we will move to the last question. This is one of your past paper question. You can see the standard of the past papers. The company had an opening stock of 5,000 units. How did you get that 5,000 units? 200 into 25. On 1st June 29, it uses FIFO method to price the issues of the stock. The following receipts and the issues are recorded during the year. Putha, you had opening stocks and there was issue. You are supposed to calculate the cost of sales and the value of the closing stocks. Right, okay. Shall we do these calculations, Putha? On 1st June, again the FIFO method. On 1st June, how are the number of units available? There were 200 units at 25. 200 units when you get 25. Is it 5,000? Opening stock 5,000. Right. අපිට හොයන්න කියනවා පුතා මෙතන closing stocks, right? අපි closing stock and the cost of sales both you need to do. We'll calculate the cost of sales first, right? Puta, you are issuing 6,600 units. So when you are issuing 600 units, how are you going to calculate the cost of sales? අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලා cost of sales වලින්ම පුතා. Cost of sales of 600 units. Right. The pricing techniques is FIFO method. Okay. When you are issuing 600, what is the first inventory that you issue according to the assumption? That is the opening stock. Or in the opening stock, there are 200 units. Price of it, rupees 25. Enang 200 into 25, which is 5,000. Put another 400 more units you need to issue. That 400, when you're issuing that 400 units, there are 300 units that you purchase next. Enang you issue that 300 at 24. Enang 300 into 24, that is 7,200. And one more units you need to issue. Another 100 more units you need to issue. That you will issue from the next purchase which you have made at 28. Ehna puta 100 into 28, you get 2,800. And how much the value of the cost of sales? That is rupees 15,000. That is rupees 15,000. Okay. Then you wanted to calculate what? Puta closing stocks, right? How are we going to calculate the closing stock of this? You can see your හරියට මේ calculation එක study කරා නම්, if you study this calculation properly, when you are issuing the 600 puta, this opening stock has already been issued. Make answer cost of sales 15,000, right? Opening stock has been issued. This 300 also has been issued, and out of this 200, 100 has been issued. Ehna puta, your closing stock consists only with 100 units. Your closing stock consists only with 100 units. A 100 units purchase karla tiyenne at 28 each. most recent purchase you did at 28. How do you get 100 into 28? Then your closing stock is 2,800. Your closing stock is 2,800. 2,800, which is third one, is your correct answer. Third one is your correct answer. Is that clear? Right. What were the answer here? This is a 2009 LOL paper. For the first question, it has to be 15,000. Cost of sales has to be 15,000, and the closing stock has to be rupees 2,800. 2,800. This is the working, right? Okay. Okay, Buddha, we can stop with this. We have done the practice question, 3 practice question from the FIFO method. The first question, and when you come to the second question, you don't find the correct answer, right? Therefore, the given answers you can use as your correct answer when you're marking them. And the third question, we did one of the past paper question, right? But if you have the past paper book, start doing the past paper question from the first in first out method. And then there will be another video after discussing the weighted average method in the theory class. There will be another video which practice weighted average method as well, right? Okay, thank you, Buddha.